Hey friends! Hey friends! So today's video is going to be the makeup collection tag that my dear friend Georgia Harris came up with. She made her own tag and she was like, "Are you guys gonna do my tag?" And I was like, "Yeah." I have a series of questions that Georgia has come up with, and we're gonna answer them. There's 14 questions dealing with makeup collections, kind of how I collect makeup, how I store it. I don't tend to watch makeup collection videos. That's not something that I click on, but I know that a lot of people enjoy it, and I know a lot of people watch them. Yeah, let's answer some questions. So the first question. How long have you been collecting makeup? I would say since I basically started making makeup videos on my YouTube channel, which was like since 2011. Since 2012. I mean, honestly, I went through some phases. There were some phases where I was buying a lot of things several years ago, and then there was a couple of years where I didn't want to buy like anything new. And then in the last couple of years, I've gotten into collecting more things. I've grown my eyeshadow palette collection substantially in the last couple of years, and like just the number of things and the declutters and the thing, my collection has changed, but I've been consistently inconsistent since 2012. The next question was, what kind of collection do you have? I.e. minimal, utilitarian, aesthetic, historical. It's definitely not minimal. I don't necessarily know what historical means in this situation. Like, do I just keep things for the sake of having them? I would say it's like utilitarian plus. Like, I don't like to buy a lot of dupes of things. I don't like to have a lot of the same shades of things, unless it's like a shade I literally use all the time. So like a mustard yellow, I use all the time. And so I like having that in multiple palettes. But I don't know, like I would say it's utilitarian plus, I don't know. I don't really have the setup to where it could like maintain an aesthetic, but it's definitely not excessive. It's not excessive and it's not minimal. Next question. Are you a completionist? No. If you guys don't know what that term kind of refers to in the makeup community, Georgia kind of mentioned it as like, are you somebody that needs to have all of a collection, all of like one product? So like if there's like a lip liner from a brand, do you need all of them? Or like eyeshadows, if you need the entire Sweet Peach collection or the entire Tutti Frutti collection or like the entirety of a whole collection, I am not that at all. I am the exact opposite of that. I think that for me, it would be very unhealthy for me to have that attitude towards makeup because I don't have a lot of space for my makeup storage, so having a completionist attitude towards collections would be not good for me. And I feel like the only things that I would be any sort of like completionist towards would be like Lush perfumes or like Anastasia eyeshadow palettes, because I have 5 of them, but there's nothing else in my collection where I have that many of one kind of thing, except like MAC lipsticks from when I was like obsessed with buying MAC lipsticks back in like 2013. But other than that, nah, not much of a completionist, just because I don't have the space for it. I really don't. How do you store your collection? I have a little basket that I keep my eyeshadow palettes in, almost all my eyeshadow palettes, the ones that can be stored upright pretty easily. I keep a couple of them outside of it because I know they're gonna break more easily. I have all of my lipsticks in little like little cube kind of organizers. I keep some perfumes in there as well and some lip gloss. I keep all of my like blushes and other random things that aren't palettes or lipsticks go into drawers, which I have one in a drawer and then one on top of it. And then I keep all my brushes in like empty candle holders for the most part, because I have a handful of empty candle holders. And then I have the rest of my makeup that I like keep with me on a regular basis in this. So it's a combination of things, but most of it lives on my vanity. I've been debating whether or not I want to get a different kind of storage, but I just need to pare down my collection, you know? I just need to pare it down. Which brings me to the next question. What is your favorite thing about your collection? I like that there's like kind of a clear difference with like the stuff that I used to buy and the stuff that I was just like obsessed with buying all the time. I've kind of decluttered a lot of these MAC lipsticks that I used to buy and done like the back to MAC thing, but I had so many like super bright pink corally lipsticks that I would just never buy now. And so like kind of seeing like some of those old products and then the ones that I've bought now, it's kind of cool to see see how my style has changed over the years and how much more curated my collection is now versus back in the day when I'm like,
Urban Decay Vice 4?
of course I need that. Like, I literally use that palette maybe like 5 times. I like kind of seeing that progression and that most of those old things are not in my collection, so it reminds me that, oh, I don't need these things. I don't need to keep them just because I spent money on them, you know? And if I do recommend anybody who maybe was like me and would just like buy MAC lipsticks like all the time, and there's some you don't use, you don't have to use them up. You can like chop off the lipstick if you're literally never gonna use it. If it's expired, chop it off, bring the empty thing back to MAC, and they'll recycle it and then give you a free lipstick. So it's like you can get rid of 6 that you might not be using anymore and then get one that you actually might use, and you're not spending any money. So I don't necessarily see an issue with that now that I'm trying to not buy MAC anymore and I'm trying not to buy things that are tested on animals. So that's a thing that I've been trying to do. Question number 6 is, what is your least favorite thing about or something to improve your collection? The storage. I think that if I cleared out the bottom 2 drawers of my vanity, I would have so much more space. It's full of a lot of junk and a lot of paperwork and a lot of just like things that are not makeup related. If I could pare down that stuff and then move some of the things that are on top of my vanity into the drawers, it would be much easier. But that's the main thing. Like, I think it's the right size. I don't think it's too big. I don't think it's too small, but I wish I could store it a little bit easier, which I will do a video decluttering and organizing that desk vanity thing, but I'm gonna wait until my voice is back to its like normal self. It's already a lot for me to talk this much. Number 7, what is the biggest category in your collection? Lip products. It's like a holdover from many, many years of just like buying lip products and not being able to finish them. I would just lip products in general. Like, I have a lot of bullet lipsticks. I definitely have more bullet lipsticks than liquid lipsticks. I have a handful of liquid lipsticks and a handful of lip glosses, but mostly bullet. I mean, perfume also. I have a lot of perfumes. Definitely lip products is like the largest thing. And then the next being eyeshadow palettes. Definitely lip products. I have too many of them. Next question. What is the smallest category of your collection? Complexion products. I'm stealing Georgia's answer because she said the same thing. I have this tinted moisturizer, this foundation, a setting powder, and a concealer. Like, I don't own a lot of complexion products. I don't like owning more than 2 at a time because these are what work for me. So I don't buy foundation and complexion products until I run out of them. So yeah, my complexion products are definitely the smallest category out of everything because I don't like owning so many different foundations. Like, I like using it up and then buying another. Like, that's what I do. I don't I don't do it. Whenever I see people who have like entire drawers like full of like over a dozen foundations, and I'm like,
why?
No, I can't do that. I can't do that. Do you have a holy grail in your collection? I think Georgia, I know, was kind of getting at less of like a holy grail particular product. Like, I have a holy grail mascara or a holy grail foundation. It's more of like something that like really is special to you, something that would be very difficult to replace and that you're really happy that you have. For me, that's the Gemini palette for sure, because when it first came out, I was very surprised that I was able to get it before it sold out, because that never happens to me. I feel like it was a palette that came out for me because I was like, I want something with green and some oranges. And then Melt came and fucking
changed the game.
I know, like, getting anybody's hands on it is not easy because Melt doesn't make enough of their products. It's a pet peeve of mine that they don't make enough of them. Like, you know they're gonna sell out, like, fucking make more. But definitely the Melt Gemini palette is my holy grail, like pride and joy. Next question. Do you ever wish your collection was bigger or smaller, and is it complete? When I see new releases of like things that I want, I don't know if that like fits into like I wish my collection was bigger. It was more just like I wish I had that, so like in turn my collection would be bigger. But I don't get like FOMO looking at collections that are like ridiculously huge. I don't see those pictures and be like, oh my god, I wish I had that. I look at that and I get overwhelmed by it. So I definitely don't wish that my collection was like bigger, but I don't necessarily feel like I wish it was smaller. I wish it was more curated. I wish I think it's the right size, but I need to go through it and curate it more regularly, because I feel like now that I've lived here for like over 3 years, I'm less inclined to do that because I don't have to move it you know? I used to declutter all the time because I moved like 3 times in a year. So there's that. The next question, how often do you declutter your makeup in your collection? I feel like I did it last summer, so I probably should do it again soon. And I've been waiting to do it in a video, because if I'm gonna declutter, I might as well fucking film it. You know, like, if you don't film it, did you declutter it? Did it happen? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I want to get more regular with it, but I would say like once a year is normal. Like now, 3-4 years ago, I did it like every 6 months because I had to, because I was moving. But yeah, like once a year, I don't know. Question number 12 is, do you ever get envious seeing other people's makeup collections? The only thing I really get envious about is just like how clean and pristine it is. More of just like how it's organized and how they're able to keep everything in a line and like just in a way that's just like easy to find. Those are the people's collections that I get envious of, that I'm like,
ooh, like I wish I could be that clean.
But less about like, ooh, I wish I had that thing, you know, because I'm happy with everything that I have. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like everybody's makeup collection is very specific to them, and I feel like the one that I have works for me. I just get envious of people's organizational skills. That's it. That's all I get envious about. Next. What I just said kind of leads into the next question. Who on YouTube has the best makeup collection video? Now, I said before, I don't necessarily watch them, but the one that I have seen that I appreciated so very much was Kimberly Clark's. I don't mean to steal your answers, Georgia, but that's what it is. For Kimberly, having a large and diverse makeup collection like makes sense because Kimberly's a drag queen, and seeing how she's able to just keep things very clean and keep things very organized and keep things very utilitarian, ergonomically pleasing. It's ergonomically lovely and it makes sense and it's easy to find things, and I just love Kimberly Clark in general. Her makeup collection video I liked, and I liked how she went through everything and it wasn't so, like, there was nothing braggy about it. A lot of times what I get sometimes from people's makeup collection videos, people who get a lot of PR, when I see their collection, I'm like, that's excessive. Wow, look at how much stuff you get sent to you. Like, I don't like watching those because of that reason. Somebody like Kimberly Clark, like, had a specific reason, kind of like how I store my makeup. This is my collection. Like, this is where everything goes. And Kimberly Clark, I consider more of a consumer and less of like, I mean, she's an influencer as well, but I feel like her collection is more like consumer and utilitarian based because she uses it for drag, and her collection just makes sense. And the last question is, what's some advice you'd give to a future makeup collector? Do what's right for you, dude. Do what is best for you. Never feel like you need everything. Never feel like you need one of everything. Never feel like you need to be a completionist if other people are. Like, if you follow other people on social media and you're like, oh, I need that thing, like, oh shit, they said I need it. Like, don't necessarily feel like you need to do that because they're trying to sell you stuff. Like, that's just what it is. Do whatever is right for you. If you're somebody who loves having like a ton of rainbow palettes and loves color and uses color on a regular basis, yeah, find colorful palettes that you love. But if you're somebody that uses like neutral eyeshadow shades like all the time, but because like rainbow palettes are like trendy, don't feel like you need to buy it, because if you're not gonna wear it, if you're not gonna use it, don't buy it. Like, that's the thing. That's my thing. It's like, if you're not gonna fucking use it and use it up to an extent, you don't need it. My anti-hauls, I feel like, are kind of everything that I would say for this, like, advice to a new makeup collector. Like, don't get overwhelmed so quickly. Like, dip your toe in, like, try a few things at a time. Don't do massive hauls. Don't fucking spend hundreds of dollars all at once when you're just getting into it, because you can easily overwhelm yourself and easily just get, like, have too much stuff. When I first started really getting into makeup, I got really into MAC lipsticks. And I realized I had like 3 or 4 different shades that looked very, very similar to each other. But because like I loved the hype and I loved having just like going to the MAC counter and having that like little bullet, like having that in my purse, I had too many. And I have fucking gotten rid of at least 12 of them over the years and done back to MAC. I just got really into it and really obsessed and really, I don't know. I was filling something with buying makeup, which for me was not healthy. So kind of do whatever is best for you. If you're somebody that doesn't have a lot of space, don't buy a lot of things. If you live in a dorm, or if you live in like a studio apartment, or like a shared like apartment with multiple people, you don't need a ton of makeup, because most of the time, like, you don't need to have the same kind of collection that beauty influencers have, because most of the time they have like a whole fucking room for their makeup. If you live in a small space, you don't have an entire room for your makeup, so don't buy things that you don't have the space for. That makes sense. So that was the tag, that was the video. Thanks for making this, Georgia. I think this was fun. I will leave a link to Georgia's video in the description and in a card up here as well. If you want to do all the questions will be in the description as well. For today's song of the day, let me see what it's gonna be. Song of the day is Black and Red by Rainwolf, and Rainwolf just put out a full-length record after fucking 7 years. Full length is called Hear Me Out, and Rainwolf, I believe, just got done with a full US tour. Yeah, it's a really good record, but Black and Red is fun. You should listen to it. It's very loud and rowdy rock and roll. My next video is either going to be, depending on when this goes up, either going to be a favorites video, decluttering my vanity, or a follow-up to my Amazon video where I talk about things I don't buy. Let me know which one of those you would like to see first. I'm gonna go drink some tea and stop talking, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!